Hey, I'm in the middle of regripping my rackets as I've got a 30-minute gap before my next lesson, and I thought I may as well kill two birds with one stone and put my camera on and have a chat with you guys. And so I'm going to kind of use this as one of my Tennis Coach Diaries. If you've seen those videos before, it's just where I talk to you about all things that are happening in my life as a tennis coach. So yeah, watch me regrip these rackets. I'm doing 3 of them because I've actually got a tournament coming up myself, which is mad, because the last time I competed was about a year ago, and I was actually making one of these Coach Diary episodes back then for you. So you might remember, if you saw that one, I was talking about whether I was going to use my Head Speed Pros or the Yonex Percepts. And as you can see here, I've got the Head Speeds in my hand for one reason only. I've played with them for so many years, and I'm just frightened of what might happen if I don't use them competitively. But funny thing is, I've been really getting on with the Yonex Percept and love it for coaching, love it for, you know, any times that I hit with other players, which unfortunately nowadays is, few and far between. But yeah, there's no reason why I couldn't use the Yonex Percepts, but yeah, I'm just a creature of habit, and I'm going back to the trusty speeds. But in this competition, I'm playing an ITF over 35s event in a club called St George's Hill, which is phenomenal. I may make a video on that. I'm not sure yet, because I don't like filming my matches for the sake of the opponent at the other end. But yeah, it's an incredible place, and it's a chance for me to get competitive at a high level as an old boy over 35s. But I've had my racket strung up with a slightly tighter tension. Normally I play with head links strung at 52 pounds, but I've decided this year, or this tournament I should say, to try my racket strung up at 54 pounds. The reason being is I felt recently when I tried to hit properly in the lead up to this event that I was spraying a few of my forehands in particular, just overhitting. And I think it's a combination of a few things. I think I haven't had my racket strung for a while. Paul, our stringer, is the head stringer at Wimbledon, and he's been away. But also, I think because I've been playing with the Percept, which is a, you know, control-oriented racket, I think that kind of encouraged me to swing faster and bigger. And when I went back to these Speed Pros, they're not quite so control-based. I mean, they kind of sit in the middle between control, power, and spin, which is why I like them. But yeah, when I went back to them, I was overhitting. So I've just gone up a couple of pounds just to allow me to control my forehand, rein it in a little bit when I play. The only downside of going up is it could be a little bit tougher on my arm. So I'm going to have to gauge that and see how it goes. But I've had all 3 of these rackets strung up to the same tension, just so that if I break a string, I've got another racket matched up and ready to go. So yeah, playing St George's in a couple of days. And then in a week's time, I'm playing over 35's County Cup. And then if I do okay at St George's, if I get some ranking points, then I can play the over 35's ITF at Wimbledon, which would be a dream. I've never played there. I know they play the event across 2 venues, Arangi at Wimbledon, which is the practice courts that you may have seen at Wimbledon, and Rains Park, which is up the road, which in some ways is actually a nicer venue, the most incredible grass court. So yeah, talk about all the buses coming at once. I don't play for a year and then enter 3 events back to back. Let's see how my body copes with that. That'll be interesting. But anyway, what have I been getting up to as a tennis coach? Well, if you've been following the channel, you may have seen that we recently hit 100,000 subscribers, which blows my mind. I never, ever dreamed of that many people watching my videos. In fact, if I thought about it at the start, I probably would have been too scared to actually go ahead with it. But I've just been chipping away 5 years now. On this YouTube channel, just chipping away, trying to make a video every week, and most weeks I've succeeded, but it can be tough when you're running a coaching program and coaching full-time still. Lots of this social media world I'm not a big fan of. Don't like influencer life. I don't consider myself to be an influencer. I'm a tennis coach that makes videos, but it's also come with some incredible experiences, which some of you may have seen on the channel if you've been with me a while. And so I just want to say a massive thank you. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for liking the videos, watching them all the way through to the end. You know, every single bit of engagement that you put into these videos is why they reach more people, and why I continue to do it, to be honest. Because, like I say, I'm not natural on camera. I don't really enjoy it. I enjoy the creative side of making these videos. You might notice that I try to get arty sometimes in some of the videos that I make, and yeah, that's really one of the main reasons why I do it. The creative part, but also the fact that I can reach more people than just the people at my tennis club. So yeah, thank you. I'm not focused around the numbers, but what I am pretty pumped about is the fact that I'm going to get a silver play button soon. And so I'm going to put that somewhere in my office. I'll make a video about that when it comes. But yeah, that's YouTube. And as well as these long form weekly videos that I make here on YouTube, you may have seen that I make short videos as well. Those videos sit on YouTube Shorts, but also on Instagram. And yesterday I actually posted a Q&A invitation for people to ask me some questions. And so once I've put this over grip on my last racket, I'm going to look at some of those and answer them for you, because although the people that ask the questions may not be on this video and watching this, I'm sure some of the questions will be interesting for you watching as well, because I get a lot of good questions, and they can be pretty broad. Lots of them are about tennis, of course, and asking for tips. Some of them are a bit more personal about my life, which I don't tend to go too deep into. I try to keep some things to myself. But yeah, there we go. Overgripped 3 rackets. For those wondering, these are the Head Speed Pros. These ones are the first Auxetic, and this is the Speed Legend, which is Auxetic 2.0. I use this a lot because I just love the blackout racket. But the reason I'm using these is I've got 2 of them completely the same. They've been matched up by Paul. The other Speeds, the Auxetic 2.0, I love, but I've only got this one. So this is kind of a backup for the tournament. I want to make sure I've got 2 of the same. But yeah, let's check out. Let's see, I've got some time before my next lesson. So, first question, if I took a screenshot here. Okay, what is the hardest part about being a tennis coach? Good question. I love it. I've been coaching for about nearly 20 years, I'd say. And the one thing I love about it is every single day and every single player that I coach is different. And so I have tons of variety. I'm working with players of all levels, all ages, all standards. The toughest part for me is finding balance. And that's probably my own fault more recently with the YouTube channel and trying to, regularly post content. But the balance for me is difficult. Being able to spend time on myself and with my wife, but also on my own health and going to the gym and keeping fit in that way. That is the struggle for me, I think, because I love being on court, I love the coaching, I'm enjoying the creative side of making videos, but that comes with a lot of work behind the scenes that you might not realize, with planning and editing videos and that sort of thing as well. And I haven't even mentioned I run a coaching program here. So I'm managing a team of coaches, over 300 players playing every single week, lots and lots of emails. So yeah, finding the balance for me is the toughest part. How much has social media and the opportunities created by it changed your everyday life? Good question. My everyday life, quite considerably when it comes to just time spent working. I work a lot more than I ever used to. When it comes to influencer lifestyle, like I said, I'm not a fan of that word, and I don't consider myself to be an influencer, but it does come with lots of other work when you've got lots of different brands, big or small, sending you freebies, which may seem super attractive. And when I first started, I was buzzing about it. But I'm saying no to a lot of brand collaborations and reviews and this sort of thing, because I just don't want to spam you guys with that sort of thing. And so, as much as it's nice getting freebies, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. And I only really want to share things that I truly value and things that I know that you will love as well and value. So yeah, that side of things, it eats into time. But like I say, I'm saying no to tons and tons of things, and trips as well. You know, going to the French Open and the US Open and all these things are incredible. But I don't want to just make videos vlogging my lifestyle and making it look like I'm, you know, doing all these glamorous things, because the reality of it is not that glamorous. And I'm hand-picking the trips that I do go on, and only going on trips that are gonna, you know, be valuable to me as a coach. You know, it might be that I'm learning from other pro coaches and players, or valuable to you, you know, and going on cool trips so that you can experience some things that you might not have been able to experience. So yeah, finding the balance, it kind of links to that first question. I'm saying no to tons and tons of things, which you may have realized if you've been watching my videos for the last few months. Okay, let's try and find another question with a different theme. Do you edit all the videos yourself? Yes, I do. I thought about getting an editor, but that's part of the process that I enjoy. And it's quite tricky finding an editor that knows tennis, and all of my videos are very tennis based and quite technical. So yeah, maybe one day, but right now I'm editing everything myself. How many hours do you coach a day? Days vary. I try to spread my hours out. I've said in a video before that I try not to coach for more than 4 hours in a row. I used to coach way too many hours in a row in a day, and I just feel physically and mentally my limit is 4 hours. So what I'll tend to do is 3 or 4 hours in the morning, try to have a lunch break with a bit of an extended time so that I can do some admin and have some food and have a bit of a break, and then do 3 or 4 hours in the afternoon as well. But yeah, I'm still coaching around 30 hours a week, which has dropped off a little bit since doing this social media stuff. As the head coach at a program and contact of everything, how do you switch off? Sadly, with difficulty. I've experienced burnout a couple of times in the past year or so. Just felt mentally and physically drained and become physically ill actually from it. And one thing that I've done on the back of that, after listening to a few podcasts that have kind of helped me to understand burnout a little bit more, is understanding that stress is a part of life, and stress is important to perform well. You know, even on the tennis court, being anxious and nervous can help you to perform, as long as you manage that level of emotion. But knowing when to change something in your life is vital. And so one thing that I've changed is I now switch my phone off at 7:30 p.m. and leave it downstairs. And that has helped tremendously. So yeah, if you're feeling burnt out in anything in life, try to think of things that you could change easily that will make the difference. Okay, next question. I saw you did a mental training session with your junior squad yesterday. What did that consist of? Okay, yeah, so we had our tournament players come for a full training day with us yesterday, and it was incredible. It's the first time they've done it. Normally they're playing for 1 or 2 hours in their sessions, but we extended that, and we did a morning session where they had 30 minutes of strength and conditioning, an hour of drills-based exercises where they're playing together and working on certain things. Then we had a lunch break. Then they went back. Then we did a mental training session, which I'll explain what that consisted of. And then we had match play in the afternoon. And for these players, they ranged from kind of 9 years old to 14 years old. And most of them are now kind of getting into competitive situations. They're playing in tournaments. And so what we covered in the mental session yesterday was how to prepare mentally for a match, which involved them actually packing their own bag ready for tennis and creating their own physical warm-up, because I'm a big believer in feeling prepared feeds you with confidence. And so the first thing we worked on is feeling fully prepared for their tournament. Then we spoke about kind of coping mechanisms within the match. You know, when you're feeling like you're doing well and you have momentum versus when you have momentum against you. Spoke about how controlling time in between each point and in between the games can help you to swing momentum in your favor. And also talking about different coping mechanisms when it comes to playing a bad point and feeling frustrated. And one thing we say with the kids, and maybe you can try it yourself, is if you play a really, really bad point, instead of showing negative body language, walking to the back of the court, and you see players kind of playing with their strings, but when you walk to the back of the court, picture your racket face being your iPad screen. And on your iPad screen, you're watching the last point play out, the last shot that you missed. And you're computing it, you're taking it in, and then you shake it off, discard it. And the kids loved it, and they used it in the afternoon, and they found it a great way to just shake off that bad point and reset, ready for the next one. So yeah, give that a go. Maybe it only works for kids, but I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. But anyway, I've got 5 minutes before I'm back on court, so I'm going to wrap things up there, but would love to hear if you have any further questions. I'll answer all of them in the comments below. Thanks as always for watching. I know this is a slightly different format to my normal videos. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and yeah, wish me luck in the next coming weeks for my tournaments. I'm thinking about making some videos on them. Let me know if you'd like to see them. I'll see you soon.